While I've been preparing the tiny house for the move to the homestead property, I've been propagating some plants back here in anticipation for the move. This big vine-looking plant behind me here is called Yacon. About a year ago, I watched Zac Efron's series about sustainability and the environment, and Yacon was one of the plants on there that they claimed to have a lot of good health benefits. So naturally, I had to look into it more. I found a local farm that sells the crowns for starting Yacon and bought 3 of them so I could try it for myself. Unfortunately, the 2 that I planted outside didn't do so hot, but this one that's been indoors looks great. It even has some new growth at the base of the plant. When I first planted this thing, the stem was kind of leaning over and I couldn't get it to support itself. So I added this empty spinach container and it ended up just kind of using that a little bit as support and kind of growing around it into this long, windy stem that went all the way up the window here. This thing is super tall. I'm 6 foot tall and you can see that this thing curls up and around me way above my head. If there wasn't so many curls, this thing would probably stretch about 15 feet. One of the interesting things is that this has some new growth on it here even after about a year. You can see kind of these old leaves just kind of crinkle off here. I've seen that you can actually make tea out of these, but I haven't tried that yet. You can see our G.I. Joe is based up on some new growth there as well. I threw him on here because it just looks kind of like a giant beanstalk. Here you can see some of the flowers up here at the top. There's one that's still open. I put this in a container with rocks at the bottom so I could kind of have a water reservoir down there to help with self-watering of the plant. You can see I had some volunteer plants in here as well. Those are actually avocados that were mixed in with the compost mix that I used to plant this in. Let's dig down in here and see if we can harvest any of the Yacon. It should be something that looks similar to a sweet potato. This right here should be attached to the crown, which is a different part than the part that you eat, which is the tuber. I just want to get that out of here so I can dig a little bit and I'll put it back in there, but G.I. Joe took a spill on that one. He's airborne qualified now. I'm going to kind of clean this off with a little bit of water and we'll see what we can see. So here is what we see after we get it cleaned off a little bit. For the amount of time that this has been in here, that's not super impressive, and obviously that's not exactly like a large dinner size. I dug around beneath this a bit too to see if there was any other tubers on there that I could find, and I didn't feel anything else, so I think that's all we got. I think I will probably harvest this big one here on the side, and I think I'm just going to actually bury the rest and let it do what it does. I'm just going to come in here and just break that guy off. Okay. Now I'm just going to carefully put this back into place. Unfortunately, when I moved it, it split out one of the nodes right there, so I kind of have it propped back up in the windowsill, but we'll see if it can still survive like that. So here is the tiny little Yacon that we got. I tried a little nibble of it, just raw like this, and it just kind of tasted like starch. Didn't really taste like anything. So I'm gonna let it sit out for a few days, and then I'll probably cut it up and cook it up with dinner. Now some people might ask, that was a super small Yacon, why did you harvest that? Why didn't you just leave it on there and potentially let it grow bigger? And the answer is because I've been waiting over a year and I want to try it. This has been kind of a long-term project and my patience only goes so long. So I left some of the other smaller ones on there for longer. We'll see if they get bigger, but I do want to try this out and see if I like it and see if I want to buy more crowns and try to propagate this plant some more. I mean, if it tastes like crap and I don't really like it, then I don't really want to waste any more time growing it. As for the plant itself, I tried to just kind of cover it back up as good as I could and re-support it in the way that it was. And hopefully it will continue to grow and make some bigger Yacon than this one that we got. Honestly, this is kind of par for the course with a lot of things on my channel. I see something on TV that looks cool, I try to emulate it myself, and then I screw it up. If you scroll through the videos on my page, you'll see this isn't the first time that's happened. But failures are one of the best ways to learn. So I'm going to keep doing projects and hopefully we'll have better results in the future. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more of my projects and to see the tiny house move out to the homestead.